Oh, wow. I have chills a little bit because very rarely am I in a position of being so intimidated to back cleanup as it might be. I think we have heard from any number of what would be incredible chapbooks this evening, and I want to thank obviously Sharon and Harryette. I'm so honored by your selection, and Joshua, Sheila, and Alexandra, not only for the wonderful poetry, but for traveling so far to join us here this evening. So my name is Sandra Beasley, and we are often in this position where we're saying, these poems wouldn't be here without you all, but this is a very literal case of that. These poems would not be here without you all. And I just want to thank the Center for Book Arts and the artists, the designers, the staff, everyone who made it possible for this to exist. I was saying at the dinner that this was a really critical tipping point for me of thinking of these poems as a series, as something that I was committing to. And I want to thank actually a fellow poet, Helen Klein-Ross, for first helping to bring the Traveler's Vademecum to my attention, although I don't think she probably knew that I would bite into it as deeply as I did. Yeah, this means a lot to me. Just not to, please don't judge me too much, but when I actually spoke with Sharon on the phone and heard about this, I was in what felt like a really bad dry spell. I was literally in a place called the Rock Bottom Brewery in Northern Virginia. I had the sampler. It was very reasonable drinking. I've never read from this book before, so I've noted the page numbers. I was playing catch up, but apologize while I flip. This is the Traveler's Vademecum, line 7,671. It is no secret here. Dirt, wrote a British anthropologist, is matter out of place. Drop a grape from bowl to table, and we call it dirty. Drop a grape to the floor, and it is trash. Bowl, table, these are ordering agents, ways to tell the functional from fallen. Skin, tendon, these are ordering agents. You want to kiss my mouth, but not my teeth inside my mouth. You want to hold my hand, but not the blood within that hand. There is truth in you, but it won't be the dirty truth until it tumbles into the air between us. In this city, there is always a long walk home in 7 a.m. light, high heels stabbing the subway grates, a walk home past gutters littered with the non sequitur of chicken bones, wings that once held a dream of flight. So all of the poems in this collection are taken from a very obscure book, which was published in 1853 by a man named A.C. Baldwin. And what it was he put together this compendium of 8,000 plus itemized phrases. So the idea was that you could telegraph each other or communicate back and forth, not writing out the whole sentences, but just the numbers back and forth. He called this collection the Traveler's Vademecum, or instantaneous letter writer by mail or telegraph for the convenience of persons traveling on business or for pleasure, and for others, whereby a vast amount of time, labor, and trouble is saved. This is the Traveler's Vademecum, line 5,450, in a state of intoxication. The navel corresponds to the omphalos. A corner corresponds to a perpendicular. A spoon corresponds against its bowl, curve to curve, an efficiency of emptying. When the axe hits an inconvenient sapling, the wound corresponds to the strike. When I say I wish to correspond with you, what I mean is I want to bite your tongue across these many miles. I was careful. careful did not serve me. Can the foot correspond with a tightrope, one always trying to outdo the other? For a year, a black speck has floated in my right eye. It corresponds to nothing. It is and is. It reminds me that what I see does not correspond to what I touch. Not anymore. So there are a number of people in the room who are part of the art world, including my fiance, Champneys, who I'm very glad was able to make up the trip from DC with me tonight. And this particular Vademecum poem kind of adopts that language of the art world of gallery displays. The Traveler's Vademecum, line 907, the exhibition was very beautiful. The exhibition opened on a rainy Thursday with cello suite. They hung the paintings to be viewed from both front and back. Luna moths flapped their great green sail wings. Stingrays flapped their great gray sail wings. Those visiting the exhibition were encouraged to touch. Captions were available in Braille and audio. The exhibition tasted like cherries. A critic asked if the exhibition was a facile juxtaposition of ideals. The mother of the exhibition calls constantly, and the father never. The exhibition has taken to pouring a little scotch in the coffee. When designing layout, remember it is crucial how a bias cut fits at the exhibition's hips and foot traffic turns to the right, not the left. They hung the sculptures to be viewed from both above and below. They painted the walls a shade of eggshell minus calcium. The exhibition did not consider itself an exhibitionist until the incident at the east window. The exhibition is very sorry and will refund upon request. Stingrays flapped their great gray sail wings. Luna moths flapped their great green sail wings. No matter how short a trip, the exhibition packs 2 pairs of shoes. The exhibition never knows when it is coming home again. So one of the peculiarities of this collection is the original collection, the 1853 book, is that there's a lot of language that was surely not referring to what I read it as. I mean, some of it is, have you seen the doctor? Have you found your brother? Descriptions of landscape or of travel. But there's a whole series that I think almost certainly deals with commerce. And so this poem is probably about stocks, but for me, always it is about Mississippi. The Traveler's Vademecum, line 2239, cotton is rising. If hunting a lion, the weight of one's gaze will scare it off. So one must always close his eyes before hunting a lion. If he is to perform an inverse operation on the universe, the hunter must be sure to step inside the cage beforehand. The sky can have its Orion. On this night, he hovers with a girl in a field of astral spunk. Because he wants to be touched, he does not touch her. Because she wants to be caught, she will run. So I really enjoyed speaking with Mr. Rubin before tonight's proceedings, and I know how important it is for an organization like Center for Book Arts to be supported at all levels. You all in the audience, and by purchasing the chapbooks and the broadsides offered tonight, certainly the recognition in the arts community, but also that level of people who have the power and the time and the resources, even though of course they don't really have the time, to reach out and help. So I'm really appreciative of that. And I'm going to read a nerd poem, because I always, way long ago, I thought I was going to go into holography, not realizing that it would become a technology almost entirely obsolete except for the backs of credit cards and passports. So I like to drop these kind of random scientific properties or principles into poems, for better or for worse. You can Google it. The Traveler's Vademecum, line 614. Do not expose yourself to the air. To live is to take without permission. If you could see the oak in its entirety, you too would suspect its many-fingered grab of dirt and sky. In the kitchen of the gods, our mother makes neat sandwiches, trimming cosmic crust, layering mayo with a knife. She's humming a little tune to herself. Her back is turned. Our lifespans are controlled by Hayflick's limit, 50 times, plus or minus a few, that a cell can divide before dying. Every breath is a child's hand rummaging through a bag of grapes. Your fingers and mouth grow stickier by the minute. The jails within us keep multiplying. When I hopped out of Penn Station today and got on the subway, the very first thing I saw when I sat down on the train, I can't remember if it was the A or the C or the E, was a Poetry in Motion poster. And it was Tracy K. Smith's poem, The Good Life. And it inspired me to read, I'm just going to read a few more, but it inspired me to read a poem from this series that I never read. And it might be familiar to anybody who knows the fable that it refers to. This is the Traveler's Vademecum, line 1181. The calamity is not serious. He catches the rain in his cooking pot. He places a stone in his cooking pot. There's nothing to put in his cooking pot. He dances by the fire as the water boils. Stone soup, he sings. Lend a little garnish, he tells the village. Soon you'll each have a bowl. In go the carrot tops, the rosemary, in goes the ham bone with its fatty kiss. The children gather, the stray mules. Sometimes it has to be button soup, sometimes axe soup, sometimes nail. In France, he is a soldier. In Portugal, he is a monk stirring sopa de pedra. Wherever he goes, he is the clever man. Folktale 1548 in the Arne-Thompson Index. Not to be confused with his brothers, Eulenspiegel, 1635, Master Thief, 1525, or 1574, the Flattering Foreman. He'll never have a turn as the stupid man, the man looking for a wife, or the man who kills, injures, ogre. His is not the cat as helper, 545b. His will never be the lucky accident. He wakes each day with an empty pot and the spoon his grandmother gave him. Stone soup, he sings. The heel on his left boot loosens, so he dances harder. This town is his pantry. His is the recipe that needs no knife. Since the book, the original Traveler's Vademecum, was published in 1853, I thought a lot about the particularities of that time and that place. And I looked a little bit into what some of the literal circumstances would have been for those living in that time. And so this poem, which is my next to last, is inspired by that. The line is, flour is firm. Again, probably, they may have meant stocks, but I thought of something different. The Traveler's Vade-Mecum, line 4234, flour is firm. Baking 2 parts flour to 1 part water could stop a bullet. So good soldiers carried their hardtack over their hearts. Break it down with a rifle butt, flood it, fry it in pig fat to make hellfire stew, gnaw it raw, and praise the juice. Does wheat prepare for this as it grows, seeking the light in a half-thawed field? Do stalks know their strength is merely in their number? What is ground down we name flour, in promise that it will be made useful. Otherwise, it's just dust. Sheet iron crackers, teeth dullers. Would you call it starving if a man dies with hardtack still tucked in his chest? Can you call it food if the bullet comes only at that moment he gives in and swallows? So I really hope that if there is an afterlife, I get to sit down with Mr. Baldwin over a scotch or coffee or whatever divine nectar of the gods. I think he had a sense of humor, and I think he recognized that the book that he was creating was useful, and I think he's probably who also appreciated the ways in which it was not useful. And when I think about this series, I think about it over and over again as the ways that intimacy is both gained and lost over long distances. And so I want to finish with this poem and thank everyone again with the Center for Book Arts. I know we'll all be circulating afterwards, celebrating, and hopefully looking and or purchasing each other's broadsides and chapbooks. And thank you all. I know it's a Friday night. I know many of you struggled through rain and traffic and truckers' blockades down in DC to get here. Thank you to my family for coming up. The Traveler's Vade-Mecum, line 8206, which asks, what is the wholesale price of the Traveler's Vade-Mecum? I intend to converse with many, none in the same room. I have a daughter to search for, an acre of farmland to sell. I must confirm that flour is falling and copper is rising. I must offer my compliments to the ladies. I will be refusing all medical advice, except for that of gentlemen known for their punctuality. Where can I find you? In this city, in this parish, in this gypsy market with dirt floors. If some think me babbling, imagine how a game of chess appears to one who has only ever known a checkerboard. I own one suit for going south and another for going under. I traveled before I was born and will travel after I die. They will come together, each clutching their copies, and raid my library. Beside your love is reciprocated, they will find 4 tick marks. Beside I am fond of loneliness, they will find 15. A wrought iron gate makes beautiful not its bars, but the spaces between its bars. Without structure, there can be no mystery. Dear sirs, thank you for this service. You have shaken down the Garden of Eden for its seeds. Thank you.